Who wrote that? Like
It's written by the three initiates. I don't know. I don't know who it is. Maybe
K-A-I-B Kybalion.
Kybalion or double L.
Okay,
I don't
I
know.
got you, bro.
Kybalion.
I got you. I got
Read
you.
that.
I love you, bro. I'm not.
Yeah, likewise, bro. You're gonna love that book. It's a must read for every human being on the earth, and it's great because it's such a small book. You would think everyone could read it. So anyway, that being said, light is life. I like that name too, light is life. But anyway, I do want to jump back to the high level discussion in terms of like the physical realm
Yeah,
terminology that you guys were using. Yeah.
yeah, he was explaining the Schrodinger cat experiment, and basically kind of, I mean, I guess breaking it down, it's basically an experiment where if a cat's in a box, it when you open it, when you're observing it, is it unalived or is alive, and is it a state of observation only? And so basically they're talking about a lot of different things like qubits, ions, photons, and stuff to demonstrate the superpositions. That again, it is on frontier physics, right? So frontier at this point, what they describe frontier is that they don't know yet. It's on the verge of them finding out and trying to seek these answers. But what we can see is decoherence just means, again, it's out of phase electrons. And so the observer, when we observe anything, I'm sure everyone's kind of experienced this. Like, let's give an explanation. You're at a dinner table and you all of a sudden feel something and you look around and someone's staring at you, right? We have infrared light that actually comes out of our eyes, which, here's what I'll say, they know these things already.
Who's they?
And the reason I say they, because these
Who's
governmental
they?
entities,
Oh, okay.
so I'm going to explain it. The governmental entities or private corporations understand our energy field to a precision. And if they did not understand our energy field to a precision, then how could they use the tools up and coming, whether it's the cars that are reading your eyes, whether it is the information field that they're trying to connect you with? When you go into their literature, they have it down to a T. There is mechanisms right now that any of you guys can go on Claude Code and use the features in your phones and other things that you have as far as a wearable, and it gives, there are already sensors embedded in them that you can actually use to your ability to gain information from your own body. And you can look up what those tools are, and what that means is that they already have this charted out. So if you go into literature, whether they're patents or whether it's scientific studies, they understand very, very brilliantly how all of this stuff works and how infrared light works, how red light works, which is why we use infrared and red light therapy for a coherence ability to bring your body back into a coherent state, removing free radical electrons that are no longer in phase lock. That's why we use red light therapy. And there's over 600 peer reviews on it just from Dr. Michael Hamblin on it alone, because it helps to re-entrain and restall those we call them a node. It's a nodal point. And actually in the literature, when the scientific studies are talking, they actually talk about you being a physical node. And that is because you're a state of being held together, which is a drawing in. And that's what we see as a node. And it's the same thing, the way we explain ley lines. When ley lines cross, if you think about it this way, you have a bucket of water. And if you put a hose at a specific direction, you'll start to see that water kind of spin, right? And when you put multiple hoses in there, you'll see that vortex increase. And what that means is it's creating a null point of energy. It's gathering energy. And that's what we see exactly that happens in the information field. These electrons experience a nodal point, and that's a spin. And where we see water, it's H2O. But when people talk about AKA quote unquote structured water, it's them putting it in a vortex spin so that they can actually make it it'll hold more hydrogen. It'll become H3O2. So no, H3O2, however, the point is that,
You could say it in Chinese, and I think everyone would
well,
just be like,
well,
"Oh,
I have
okay."
it specifically, but yeah, but well, I want to be precise with you too, but it's
I
Fair
would
enough.
challenge
Fair
her.
enough, and I
I
respect
wouldn't
that.
just let her. I wouldn't let her get away with it.
Well, you can.
Except for you, Chris.
So
I'll give you that.
Chris,
You are at a higher level than at least
yeah,
me,
so
for
Chris,
sure.
do this. Mute your phone so it doesn't show a I don't know, I guess I don't know what it's called. Like when you hear me speaking in double, if you want to screen record everything I'm saying, go use this, and whatever you want to do, start doing your own research on it, and then you can bring it back to me next time, and you can challenge me on everything I'm saying. But so it is H3O2. It holds more hydrogen. And so anyways, the whole point of what I'm saying is that we use science to give an observation, and exactly what we're talking about, this information field, and what makes these nodal points of these electron observations. They're trying to figure out that information field, and that's why they're looking in deeper and deeper in CERN, because they're trying to figure out what they label as the God particle. And what that means is it's the information field, it's the shadow of what is coming back into form after those particles are collided together. Now, I work with physicists. I work with nurse practitioners. I started understanding quantum because I was looking at the biology, because I do practice holistic healing. And I started studying molecules and how they actually become decoherent and would break down, and how to get them back into alignment. And so anyways, I'm just saying that to his rebuttal, everything that I'm talking about as far as these entities, whether it's corporate or governmental, they do understand, even though they're saying that we don't know what information field is, they fully understand what it is, because you can find it in their literature. They're just not releasing that information to us, because I do think that if we understood the ability for us to have the control over our information field, which is what we're causing or labeling as decoherent, right? We have an entropy rate, and what entropy is those electrons, when pressure is applied, they become a little bit out of alignment. Chaos is when they're completely out of alignment, and they'll introduce a new alignment phase that your body will accept. They understand all of this, and you can see it in their literature. Anything that I'm saying, you can look up.
Is this tied
that's the only
to
thing
the
I'll challenge.
Is this tied to the W-band network thing?
I don't know exactly what W band is. Sorry about that, but it is tied to information work.
Yeah, it's tied to like our electromagnetic field,
yes,
serving as antennas for their
yes
system coming down the pipeline that I've heard people talk about. But anyway,
no, it's exactly
it
tied to it.
That, yeah.
Yeah, and the only thing I'll end with is that when we talk about divine feminine and masculine, here's what I'll say: if we have an appropriate measurement of both, we have the only way you can get that coherent field is when you have an equal and opposite force of the electrons that are in phase lock. What that means is that if you have a feminine, which is your magnetic field, and you have an equal opposite force of the masculine, then you have a true coherent field where women can have more direction instead of being in emotion, and where men are not only reactive out of direction, they can actually have a healthy amount of emotion. So I think that when we talk about both of them, when they're equal, I think that we're in our true power.